Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Dr. Joe Martin with the Warrior Mindset Podcast. Not too long ago, we did a really good interview with a really good friend of mine. His name is Lamont Nash. He's got a great story from beginning to end, from when he was a young buck along the way to his successes and his pitfalls in his life. And, kind of the demons he fought when he was younger, as he became older and became very successful along the way, and the peaks and valleys in his life. I think you're really going to enjoy this podcast with Lamont Nash. And without further ado, let's go to the video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a really good buddy of mine. We're on the Warrior Mindset Podcast today. And with a good friend of mine, we've known each other for a bunch of years right now. And man, I'm telling you what, this guy here is definitely a warrior. Lamont Nash, he is, former bodybuilder, physique guy, gym owner, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, life coach. Man. And it's an honor to have you on today, mainly because you and I have been good friends for a long time. We both have a great foundation in our faith. We got a great foundation in health and fitness. And the opportunity for this type of podcast that we're just starting off, and, one of my beginning guys, to be on this podcast is, I've definitely been around the world, former military guy, former SEAL, exercise phys, chiropractor for 30 years. And I've met tons of people. And it's an honor to have you on the show because I feel you're, a really good friend of mine and you're always keep me motivated. Yeah. And I want the audience to know that kind of subscribes to this podcast, that warrior mindset that we both have. Yeah. But I want people to know you. I want them to know your background and what. So first of all, I want to thank you very much for coming by today.
Yes,
and just like a little introduction, to the folks in our audience.
All right, so guys, my name is Lamont Nash. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I actually grew up in the foster care system. So right off the get-go, I went into a straight battle mode. My father actually tried to drown me in a tub of hot starting water. And I managed to get up and run and hide underneath an abandoned apartment building at 5 years old, leg on fire, packing some dirt underneath there, crawled underneath this crawl space and was just hiding because I knew that if I came out and he found me, he was going to finish me off. By the time somebody did find me because they heard a kid whimpering, I was already close to the verge of death.
Right.
And I hadn't ate or drank in days. I was malnutrition. I was starting to get gangrene on my leg. And this guy heard some whimpering, came through, called the ambulance, and the fire department that came up got me out, took me to the hospital, and started nursing me back to health. And right after that, they put me in the orphanage.
How old were you when that 5 years old?
I was 5 years old, went in the orphanage at 8, stayed in the orphanage till I was about 12, and then that's when the real battle begins, my first foster home.
So when you're in an orphanage and you had, like we were talking about, like that mindset, that warrior mindset. Obviously, the first one was when you jumped out, jump ship at 5 years old. A little bit of that armor goes on your body. Was there somebody at the orphanage that you kind of clung to that gave you a little bit of mortar and brick to build you who you are today?
No,
not as much there.
Actually, I felt like I was just like I was in a children's hospital. There was so many orphans in there, and it was hundreds of kids, hundreds of nurses, hundreds of 3 stories. I just remember going outside playing, and there was just thousands of kids like me.
And that was you spent 2 years there.
I spent 2 years there.
What about the folks that kind of picked you up out of the orphanage?
Dad foster home is where I got a lot of beatings. I got a lot of beatings by the mother. The father didn't even want me there. They told me I was a bastard kid. He didn't even want me anyway. They brought me in because their grandson lost his mother. They wanted somebody to keep him company.
Yeah.
This dude didn't even like me. The minute I came in there, we started getting into fights. I go to school. I was getting into fights all the time because he was having guys pick on me. So I was getting beat at home, getting into fights, running away, living on the streets, and my friends would be feeding me, and it was just, and I was doing that at 8, 9 years old.
So when did you get a little bit of foundation? So when we talk to people, and I've over the years before I started the podcast, we talk about quicksand. So in the beginning of your life, man, you were in the quicksand right away.
Yeah.
Like, who was that first person that threw you the rope, threw you to, the ladder, to get yourself out of that quicksand?
So I was at 22 years of age. I was living in Detroit, Michigan at this time.
Between 8 and 22. What the hell was going on between then?
A lot of foster homes, group homes, foster homes, group homes, foster homes, group homes.
And no real foundation.
No really foundation. My last foster home that I was in, foster home was good. People were good, but I was already so tore up that I actually tried to kill myself in that home. And so then they was afraid to have me come back because they didn't want to come back and find me dead. So there I went into an independent home, 18, got in some trouble, did some stupid stuff, got locked up, spent 2 years in prison, knew that I didn't want to be back in prison anymore, got back out. And it wasn't until I got out, went back to Ohio, and as I'm in Ohio, I'm working. I was living in this garage, moved to Detroit, living in this garage, and then met this guy at Wendy's when I was like 21 years old.
So before you got out, like you spent 2 years in prison and things like that, was there anybody there? Because as we go through these conversations, I have these conversations with people, it's like, there's always that one person. Right now, we really haven't got one yet. Yeah. Anybody, just the prison would just did your time and get out? Was there anybody influential? I kind of
did my time, and I just kind of I was always a smart guy, so I kind of paid attention to who was the shot callers. You had to fight the first day you in there, so I got into a fight the first day, got thrown up in the hole, tried to actually kill myself in prison. They wouldn't let me. They put me in a psychiatric ward, got out, started in general population, just kind of made friends, You become very observant. You make friends. You don't get in trouble. You watch. You don't play sides. You stay neutral. And so it's kind of like, they come in. It's like you eat. You go back to your room. You work out. They let you out. You go to exercise a little bit. Back to your room. And it's constant that all day long for 2 years straight. They offered me parole at a year, and I said nope.
Just finish your time.
I'm going to finish my time.
Yeah. So when you did get out, and then you meet this guy.
Then I get out.
In Wendy's.
And I get out, was in Ohio, staying with my baby's mama at that time. Really bad situation. My right-hand guy that I created a gang with, he came down, and he took me from there, and he moved me to Ohio, set me up with a job and a place to live. Stayed there for a little while, met a cool dude, but started up a gang there. Got into some crazy trouble. Went from there because he was like, "Hey, you want to come and meet my dad with me?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Where he live?" He's like, "He live in Detroit." I was like, "Oh." Go down to Detroit, start working, and then I get a little side job working at Wendy's. And I remember this guy from Africa. I'm walking through, this dude's smiling. He reminds me of that dude from Coming to America, hella smiling while he's walking through there. And he's like, dude, today's a great day. And I'm like, bro, no day is a great day. And then that made him wonder, like, what is up with this dude? So every day he would bug me. He started inviting me to come to church. I was like, I'm good. God has not been there for me. I'm good. So he wanted to get to know me more, and he made me a deal. I wanted to go somewhere, and he says, this is what I'll do. If I take you to this place, you have to promise me you'll go to church at least one time. And I was like, bro, where do I have to go? And he's like, yeah.
I really need to go this place, so if I go here.
So I went to church, and that day changed my life forever.
And how old were you then?
I was 22.
22.
Yeah. And then he became my mentor. And I got into a really bad fight with the guy that I was staying in the garage. He was from prison, so we both had hot heads. It was going to be me having to kill him or him having to kill me. So I called on my church brothers, and I remember the 1 Corinthians said, put on the full armor of God. And he said that to me. He says, put this armor on Lamont. We're going to come and pick you up.
See, that's where we have even this podcast we're talking about today. Like why I wanted you on here so badly is because of that concept, that mindset, that warrior mindset. And, you're putting on that armor at 22 years old. You've definitely been through some shit.
Yeah.
You know, and with that, you're floundering, like you said, in that quicksand, or you're spinning your wheels in gravel, and then at 22, you find this guy, and through Jesus,
and he,
you hit pay dirt.
Yeah, he kind of threw me like that. You know how if you're going in quicksand and you're going down, and somebody throw you a rope.
Right.
He threw me the rope. I was sinking. He threw me the rope. I was living in the garage.
What's this guy's name?
Atoma Edgy.
See, man, we gotta give him a shout out.
He threw me a rope. He pulled me out. He saved my life.
Nice.
And from then on, my life has been changed. And he mentored me for so many years. And then
when'd you come out this way to California?
So I came out this way when I was 30. So I'm 49, y'all. I came out this way when I was 30. The crazy part is when I came out this way, I didn't even know that when I moved to Detroit that my family was in Detroit.
Gotcha.
So by the time I'm getting ready to move to California, God presented me with my family, and it was through my mentor.
Nice.
One of my church brothers called him. My mentor said, hey, he seen a guy that looked like me at a bank. Said I'm called his mentor. My mentor called the lady. They started confirming everything. So right before I moved here, I got to meet my mother and my family before I came here. And I didn't even know where to look for her yet.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a crazy story. My life been like a movie.
When you came out here, I mean, obviously, people can tell, man, you're in great shape. We'll talk about that a little bit later, too.
Yeah.
Were you into the fitness the way you are now when you first came out here?
I was, because I was already working at Bally's back there. I was already doing modeling and working at as a retail manager and a personal trainer. So I was already into fitness back then, but I didn't have as much. Even though I was a trainer, I had some knowledge, but I really didn't have somebody teaching me like how to get bigger, how to be a bodybuilder or anything until I moved out here. And that's when I met Alan.
And then who was he?
Alan, his wife at the time, it was his girlfriend. She had came to my boot camps a long time ago. She ended up dating him. She said, I want to bring you to the boot camp. She brings this big old 200-some pound dude, bodybuilder, come walking in. And I was like, oh, he's just the boot camp. And I'm like, when I seen him, I was at that crossroads. So I was like, either I'm going to do Ninja Warrior or I'm going to do bodybuilding. I said, you know what? I think I'll give bodybuilding a try. So I hit her up. I said, hey, do you think your boyfriend would train me in bodybuilding? And she's like, yeah, we'll do that for you. I'll ask him. So I went out to meet him at Synergy. He was out there working. And
one of the local gyms here.
Yeah, big old Nigerian dude. And he was well known, very thorough, and he started teaching me bodybuilding. And from then on, I started getting big. I did my first natural physique competition. Lost. I got 5th place. And let me tell you why I got 5th place. And this is where you definitely had to have a good mindset. This is where it mess with you. Body dialed in. They piss test me. They lie detector. No drugs in my body. I got 5th place because I was bigger than the other dudes on stage.
Right. Yeah, so for a lot of people that don't understand, like some of the bodybuilding world, they have a natural bodybuilding, which you have to do drug testing and whatnot. Yeah. Then there's the other one where you're not tested, so kind of like full game.
That's the NPC one, right? So
exactly.
When I did that, my coach got mad because they docked me for being bigger than all the other dudes. Right. And I was natural just like them. And so my coach was like, nah. And everybody was shocked. They was like, what? Lamont didn't win? I was like, you know what? And at first, it almost turned me off to bodybuilding in general because I was just pissed. Like, what? I work hard. You guys going to dock me because I'm bigger than these dudes? These dudes should be working harder. That's how I looked at it. And so he said, screw that. We're not doing that no more. I think you're big enough to do NPC. And let me tell you something about bodybuilding. You had to have a crazy-ass mindset to do bodybuilding. You had to be on a straight diet. You had to have discipline with your workouts. And it's not like when you're going into the gym, you see people in the gym and you're like, oh, I'm as big as them now. When you step up on stage, everybody's big.
Right.
Everybody's big. So you had to go to war because you're not just going to war with yourself. You're going to war with every single dude that's standing behind you getting ready to go up on stage.
How many have you done so far?
I've done maybe like
one
6
natural,
or 7.
You had one natural and then NPC after that.
Yeah, and then after when I got into NPC, I started getting first in overall.
Yeah, and you were physique too. Yeah,
men's
so
physique.
Men's physique is a board shorts.
Going in my age category.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so you and I, we're in the same
Yes.
same field with that. It's kind of interesting. You talk about that warrior mindset, which is basically the premise of the podcast. And I've done, let's see, I'm probably right around with you, 5 or 6. And man, I'm telling you, you're right. You're so right. It's that warrior mindset because people that get into the the fitness bodybuilding world, they use the term body dysmorphia. You know what I mean? We're all head cases and things like that. So that's a really good point that you put there as far as the that warrior mindset. You got to put on that armor when you get out there because, man, people are judging you, things like that, the diet, the nutrition.
They're looking at you hella crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why, even this hat that I got on, it says Armor of Faith. So when I wear this apparel, of course, people see it in the gym and they're like, dude, like it raises their eyebrows. But what it does is it gives me a chance to witness to people. But then also when I look in the mirror, I remember that I got my armor on right now. I got to put in that work.
Yeah, amen. That's kind of the, like you said, the idea where I'm trying to put this as we go on with these podcasts and I get the guests on and things like that I really want to know what makes them the warrior that they are. You know what I mean? And your big thing obviously is your faith.
I could tell you too, man, it's taking all those beatings all my life, being on the streets, sleeping in the car, sleeping on the park benches, it developed up a grit in me.
Yeah.
So I've had hard times. I had a home, lost a home, and had to still figure it out. I was sleeping in my car while going to work every day, coming back to my car, showering at truck stops to get enough money to get me a 1-bedroom apartment. And the reason why is that is because, coming out with no family support, you lose your job. It's not like you got a wife or somebody else there helping you out. You out. So you get laid off, man. You can't pay your bills. You get kicked out. I came out here to California, no family, no nothing. So I struggled when I got here. Yeah. So
here's a question. So for the audience too, Lamont, had a fitness strength and conditioning facility, Ninja Warrior type of style. It's called the Playground, right? The Playground. Yeah. And just kind of quick question for you, with the way you grew up, and man, you put on that warrior armor every day.
Yeah.
But to let the audience know too, a lot of his clientele were young kids. So just a question to you, and then got a little smile on his face because I think he knows where I'm going with this question. Where do you see some of these kids nowadays? And if you were to recommend or talk to some of these kids nowadays, or and you do mentor them all the time, do you see them? I know the answer. Do you see them a little differently than the way you grew up? I'm going to start that big.
Well, because when I look at them, like they all, from their parents and everything, man, they had a plush life.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're learning a sport that is more in urban cities. And we're talking about these are in cities where kids have nothing. They can't afford a gym. So they got a pull-up bar outside, monkey bars outside. And so I'm teaching these kids that's coming from the north side of Clovis. Families got money.
Right.
Teaching them a sport that is technically poor country sport.
Mm-hmm. And difficult as hell.
Dude.
Yeah.
And so when I look at them, I'm like, they learn how to have that grit because they would come up, they would do a trick on the bar, and they'd be like, and they look back at me to expect me to praise them really good. And I was like, oh, it was okay. What you mean it was okay? I just did all these moves. I was like, it was okay because let me tell you something. I said, when you're going up against a guy like me that's coming from nothing, he's coming from a third world country, and his only way over here to America is to be good at this sport.
To get some knowledge.
I got a whole gym that got mats for you. All this, they're training out there on dirt.
Mm-hmm. If they hit the deck, they're falling hard.
They breaking something, they bust something up, and these dudes develop up no fear. They develop up a lot of grit. Those kids would beat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they wanted more. They have nothing. And so every day when they go out there to those bars and when they're up there hitting it and they think about stopping, they got to think about, man, I want to get out of this town, and boom. And the only way out is through sports.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's interesting with your place because I know your place really well.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing such a great job because when I see these kids in here, and obviously I'm the sports chiropractor, you send patients over if they're getting hurt and whatever. And I do see a little bit of a change, in these guys. So it's it's definitely a shout out to you and what you do with these guys. And if you haven't seen some of his videos and things of that nature, Nash Fit, right, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Nash Fit on Instagram. Definitely take a look at that, because some of these kids, the stuff that he introduces these kids to do, and the success that they do get. It's definitely some accolades to you.
Then they go on and they become trainers and coaches, and like one of my guys, Mark, man, I've been mentoring him for a while, and I watched this young man just blow up, and I'm so proud of him. I'm like, bruh.
Oh, you got a bunch of guys, man. A bunch of young guys.
And he says this. He says, like somebody mentioned the other day, they said, man, the playground, there is no gym like that gym. They said people were moving from different states just to come here for that gym.
Mark told me that the other day. Yeah, it's crazy.
And like so far we had like 5 people like relocate, talking about different states, different towns in California to come just specifically to work out at that gym.
Yeah, and that's got to that shows volumes on some of the success that you got. And you hear before, it's not really the success as far as monetary point of view, but if you leave, at least, and I tell people all the time, if you leave at least a thumbprint on this earth, where that amount of people can remember who you are, you and I have done a great thing, and you've done above and beyond.
And you want to talk about a mindset? When I first started my gym, it was outdoors in the backyard of a church. 5 people coming to my boot camps, and I kept saying I'm gonna get a building one day. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I just kept on putting in that work. I kept giving my clients the very best, started teaching these young dudes this. Next thing you know it, I'm moving from my church to a building. Get in the building, ain't got no capital. Nothing to put no equipment in there. Literally did a competition, take that money, bought a piece of equipment. Did another competition, took that money, bought a piece of equipment. Literally built that gym piece by piece.
Right. And it's funny because we both cut from the same cloth. I own, which you've been in before too, Doc's Gym. And the same type of thing. We didn't, I didn't come from the money either, in my background either. But, the gym, one piece of equipment at a time. Yeah. And then what's that expression in the old movie? Build it and they will come.
Build it and they come.
And man, your place did really good. Field of Dreams. And, you've done such a great job over the years with a lot of these young kids. Is there somebody that you, in your years of training with people, whether it's a weight loss thing or whether it's a strength and conditioning thing, whether it's an event type of thing, is there a person that you can go, man, I remember, Sally or Johnny or whatever? Any individuals? Or I'm sure you train hundreds of people.
Yeah, there's so many of them. I watch so many people change. A lot of my boot camp clients, they came in overweight. I'm over there killing them in a boot camp. And then, next thing you know, like 6 months later, they drop, they look good, they got muscle. Because I'm putting them through calisthenics and weights and high cardio and HIIT training, and they're just dying, man. And I have no mercy on them. I'm like a boot camp instructor out there just straight drilling. And it's just so many.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, from kids to adults, so many, dude. Like, and I get to watch that.
And it's almost like you're the guy placing armor on people.
Yeah.
And then we use the word foundation. You know what I mean? You're foundational who you are. You know, that concrete, that granite surface. You've spun your wheels. Yeah. You've been in quicksand. But now it's like, this solid granite foundation. And then people can climb out of certain areas. But if they're always on slippery slopes or whatnot, and it's a tribute to what you've done with your clients to see a before and after approach, whether it's a fitness, you've probably set people up for physique contests. You've set people up for competing, in the calisthenics. Those are all accolades for those individuals that are feathers in your cap, as a trainer. And you got to feel pretty good with that.
I always tell people, like my clients, like, look, if I got cancer and I'm up here still working out, pushing hard, there is no reason why they should not be. So I said, I'm leading by example, showing you what a warrior should be like. I get up, I come out, I show up, I'm throwing up, I don't care, I get out, I get working out, I push myself, I'm over here straight dying, my muscles are dead, I'm feeling all kind of stuff, and I go back and I said, look, this cancer has been the hardest battle. When I first got it, I wanted to die.
How long ago? Because I know just for the audience wise, it's been a year. A year. Yeah, and it started prostate, correct?
Yep. And I remember when they told me, they was like, "Okay, your prostate, your PSA is 4.2 or something." When they first checked it, within weeks it jumped up so fast. It was like 7, then 9, then it got up to 70. 80 is the worst.
It got to what?
70. 80 is the worst. So of course, they rush me in. They get all the paperwork done. They do the biopsy on me. They find out that it's really, really bad. It's really aggressive. Now at this point, it's already spread it. It spread it to my hip bone, and then it spread it to my bladder. And if they didn't stop it in time, and they did, it would continue to spread out on my whole body, and it just started taking out organs left and right. And so, so I became allostatic, and I just remember when they was telling me, "Okay, we're gonna give you this shot. It's liquid castration. You're not gonna be able to have no kids no more. So if you think about having one right now, we're gonna send you down to the sperm bank. Go down there, you put some sperm in a cup, and hopefully one of them's good. We're gonna save it because once we start you on this, you're done. Now your muscle mass is gonna drop." I was like, "What?"
Well, that doesn't look like it's dropped too much, bro.
Yeah, it didn't drop too much. And then they were like, then it was just, and then it's like, you might have 5 to 6 years left. So mind you, I get all this thrown at me. A person that doesn't have that kind of mindset will break. I'm telling you, they will break on day one. They be ready to, like the people on Wall Street when they lost their jobs, these fools was jumping out of windows. Those was dudes that didn't have that mindset. I lose a job right now. I'm like, shoot, man, I go out there, I got to dig ditches. I don't give a, go out there and do what I got to do to survive, because only the strong will survive. And the way this economy is going right now, if these people don't get stronger and develop that mindset of a warrior, they're going to get puppeteered, and their life is going to be over it, man. We got some crazy, dark stuff going on in this world right now.
Well, and that's interesting you say that, because we you and I have the same mindset with a lot of that, and there's some crazy stuff that goes on. But one of the things too, just going back to some from some of the cancer type stuff, people really don't realize, and that's one of the reasons I wanted you on this podcast, because we're close friends and we talk all the time, and we keep in touch. And ever since he was diagnosed with that, we're keeping in touch on all that type of stuff and coming and getting adjustments and all this type of things. But one of the things I commend you on is the fact that since we've talked over the last year with this, like his mind has not wavered. You're not wavered. That warrior mindset that you have. I wanted to get you on this show so we could get it out there to people, and heck, we'll have it, connected where it'll be DMs and whatever. But I want you to be able, and before the show started, you and I talked about your mentality is you want to get out there, you want to mentor some people. People have had cancer, that coaching aspect. So we want to make sure that gets out there, because I personally think if I'm going to have anybody in my corner as a warrior, teammate, you're the guy that's on it. So there's other people that can benefit from your because
that's where the life coaching will come in. Like, I'm going to walk with them the whole entire way. We're going to do life, and I'm going to walk with them, and I'm going to be there beside them. I'm going to be pushing them, and I'm going to be doing it with them so they can see I'm constantly doing it. So I'm not just telling them what to do, like I'm doing it, and I don't care if I'm sick. I'm coming in and training with them. This is what it's going to be. So I want them to develop up that grit and develop up that mindset that, because I always tell my clients, it's not this that pushes you, it's this that pushes you.
Amen.
When you start getting tired, this has to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you tell yourself, oh my God, man, my legs are hurting, I'm tired here, then your body's going to go, okay, we're tired, let's stop. But if you keep telling yourself, I got one more. And I've tested this theory out. So I've done where I had some clients down there say, okay, we got 30 seconds. And I'm counting that 30 seconds. I'm showing them the clock too, let them look at it. When they can see it, they're like, good. They can say, oh, I got 5 more seconds. Then I did it again, right? They thought I put 30 seconds. I put a minute. I turned it away from them. I hit it. They going.
Until you said time.
They're like, oh, man, I'm so tired of this and that, man. And then the buzzer goes off, and they say, oh, it's like, guess what? You just did. Now, they was complaining, talking about, I can't do 30 seconds. They just did a minute.
I think it was a Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
There was a coach that kind of did something similar to that. They put a guy on his back, the guy to do bear crawl, and he says you got to get just halfway to the, from the touchdown, the end zone to the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
And he blindfolded him. Same thing.
Yeah.
Come on, you can keep crawling, Johnny. You can keep crawling, Johnny, until the end. All of a sudden, he's at the other end zone.
And he didn't realize that because he couldn't see.
He couldn't see, exactly.
So I have clients now that I train. There's one new client, she's like, oh my God, I want to see the time. I want you to tell me. And I was like, no, because I'm trying to develop upgrading you.
Exactly.
I don't want you to see the time. Just keep going. It'll go off when it's supposed to go off. Like, you don't have to see it. Just keep pushing here.
Yeah, that's why, we're putting this program together, this podcast together. It's that warrior mindset. And, talking to a guy like you, it sets a precedence to people that when they see this to go, man, if this guy's fighting this, he came from this type of background, he's been successful in the industry of health and fitness and nutrition. Then all of a sudden, he gets, stricken with the cancer that he's fighting like a big dog and, succeeding at this point. So it's like, no one can ever really say, man, I can't do that.
Yeah, no,
oh, really?
Especially
Let's
not
talk to
me,
Lamont.
Man, because,
amen, right?
I went into my doctor's yesterday, and my doctor comes in and he goes, my favorite guy, man, because I'm never coming up in a bad mood. I'm like, Doc, like, we got this. My numbers are dropping constantly. My PSA is 0.5 something. It's low. And all of my other numbers are doing good. And he actually got on camera and he was stating Lamont's numbers are doing good. Because I'm doing video blogs so I can show people, I'm taking them on this journey.
Yes.
They're seeing the needle get put in. They're seeing the chemo get put in. They're seeing me get up. And what's thing is, I had some lady tell me the other day when I was in there getting chemo. She looked across from me. She seen my hat. She says, what church do you go to? I said, I go to VIA. She says, I'm inspired by you. I see you in the hallways walking. So what I do is after I get the chemo, instead of taking the seat, you can walk with the thing.
Yeah.
I get up and I do laps in that. So as I'm walking past, I see all these bays. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you ever walk past death.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're walking past those bays, you see people, you know which bays have people that's dying. Like, you can literally see it as you're walking by. You see them sitting up in the chair like this, they're getting chemo, and they look dead. Already.
Yeah.
Sitting in the chair. And here I am, up, trucking away, bro, like straight up walking. And it's like, so they got a Aurora base this way, they got a Aurora base, and and they got like 5 to 6 people in base, and they are filled. So it's so many cancer patients up there. And your mindset has to be strong, because I could be looking at these people and thinking,
you could be
damn,
right there.
that could be me right there. Yeah. But I'm not. And guess what? Every time they see me walk past, they're looking at me.
Exactly. You're leading by example.
And when that lady said, I seen you walking, that means she seen me doing laps up in there. And every time I go there, I try to do 2 more. So I did 12 this time. I'm going to do, 2 more the next time. And keep doing 2 more the next time. And the nurses are, hey, Lamont, how's it going? And I'm just, and then I said, after I do my walk, then I'm going to eat.
Kind of like that expression they tell all the time. In your mindset, you get this done, you're walking the hallways and you see these people in the other bays and not doing that great. And you're just shaking your head. Not today, Satan.
Not today. We're not going down that road, bro. I'm looking at him like, you not taking me today, bro. Yeah. Like, you will not see me up in there. And the nurses are like, they're like, man, you have been an inspiration to a lot of people on this concert floor that don't even know you. And some of these people are older than you, and they look at you and they go, man, this dude is so young to have actually a worse cancer than them.
Right, and it's that the legacy type of concept. You want to leave something behind you. And because we're all going at some point. But the more you do to help other people, the better you and I are going to feel as individuals. Yeah. When I leave this earth, I'm going to leave this with a smile on my face.
God gives us, He gives us vision. He gives us purpose. Not everybody is anointed. He will anoint his strongest warriors. Yeah. And his strongest warriors will go through. So the kind of mindset that I like about this warrior mindset is because there's a warrior that's in the Bible that went through the most out of everybody. And this fool didn't even do nothing. But it was a rager between God and Satan. Mm-hmm. And that was Job. Job got Bro, he got everything taken from him. He had a business, got that wiped out. He had kids
Family,
got killed.
yep.
He had family, wife left him. Dude, it was like a bunch of stuff, man. And at this point, this dude could have been like, you know what, God, I'm
Just
down
gave it
with
up.
you. I don't want to give up. I just want to give up. But he did not.
That's a great story.
And when he did not, God said, well done, my faithful servant. And he not only gave him back everything that he had, but better.
In spades, yep.
And so that's what you will be doing. God is going to test his strongest warriors. These strongest warriors that he is anointed to go out there and be light workers and leaders, he's going to put them through the hardest battles. You ain't even going to understand. You're going to be like, man, like you almost going to get to the point to where you want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you have that breakthrough, because a lot of them get to there and they give up and they never get to have that breakthrough. God has called them to be a leader and they get there and Satan punks them and they get talked out of it. You literally
all I
have
had to do is go around the corner.
Yep, you just had to go through the fire. And I'm talking about, I'm sitting in my room. It's dark. I just got diagnosed with a high-risk cancer. These fools tell me 5 to 6 years. I got a bottle of some daily pills that if I take 5 of them, I'm done. I got the pills. I got the water. I'm in my room. It's pitch dark. I'm crying. I'm on my knees. I'm like, God, I've already been through freaking all
history.
of this till I was all this age.
Yeah.
Homeless, getting all these beatings, getting sexual abuse, physical abuse, everything since I've grown up. And now you slap me with this too, my dude. Like, how much more do you think I could take?
Right.
And this is what he said to me. Do not rely on your strength. Rely on mine. And so my mindset had to change. I can't be looking at my situation in a negative way, because it's just going to happen to good people and bad people. You have to change the way you think. If you're not a warrior now, you can become one by changing the way you think.
Amen. And that's that mindset.
Yep. And it says, by the renewing of your mind, you are healed. It says that in the Bible, but that means changing your mindset. So many people that are like, oh my God, I lost my car. What am I going to do? Okay, there's Uber.
Yeah, yep.
There's a bicycle.
Yep.
There's a bus route. Figure it out.
And that's the thing sometimes with society nowadays, people don't know how to do that. They don't they don't get stressed enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where they have to think about those outside the box. And I think someone like yourself, what you're going to do, I think in the future, and maybe this podcast will help out other people too. But your idea is, and we've talked to each other for a lot over the last year with this cancer type stuff. I think the more you are getting out there to the public, you're doing God's work by allowing people to see the positivity that you have through a lot of this stress. Yeah,
I've been getting a lot of messages, and people have been like, man, I've been saying this to my family members because I got family members that's talking so down. And I go, why are you talking so down? This dude got a worse, hold on, let me show you the video. This dude got a worse cancer than you. And do you see this dude in the gym? Like, look at him. He's pushing up heavy weight. And yet on the days when I have bad days, like I put that out there too. I'm like, okay, guys, man, throwing up today, not really feeling good, sitting here. But guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. Let's get up. Let's get at it.
It's funny. We used the term in the when I was in the SEAL team, back in the day. The term is the only easy day was yesterday. You know why? Because it's already done.
Because it's already done.
Each day has its new challenges, its new trials and tribulations. So for you, yesterday. What about yesterday? Done. It's already done, man. What are we going to do to fight today?
Yeah, because yesterday, man, in fact, I got chemo, right? And people was like, you were working out, right? After that, you had chemo. So I said, first of all, when they gave me the chemo, they gave me steroids. And they already tell me the steroids is going to keep me up.
Right.
And then it seriously amps me up. Like, so then I feel like I got all this energy. I got to go let it out. I go right into the gym, start pumping. I'm still not tired. Hours later, I'm still up. I stayed up till 4 o'clock last night. I could not fall asleep.
You're doing push-ups and pull-ups.
Doing push-ups in my room.
Flutter kicks.
I'm up here like this. I finally fall asleep, and then just to wake up to go teach my boot camps.
Yeah.
And, most people would not have done that.
No, they wouldn't have.
They would have went home after their chemo. They would have went to sleep. And me, I'm like, I got you know what keeps me going is I got people out there that show up to this gym. I got kids and adults that look to me to lead them.
No matter what.
And so I got to show. Yeah. That's my why. Mm-hmm. That's honestly, if I was just showing up for myself, I'd have probably just went throwing a towel like a long time ago. But I have people that count on me. When I was mentoring Mark and all them, I had them count on me to keep this gym open. Mm-hmm. I went through so much that they did not know. I took all the heat. And, you know.
Well, that's the sign of a leader, right?
Yeah.
You know, exactly.
And every leader must have grit.
Yeah.
Every leader must have grit. That mindset has to be mindset of a straight warrior mentality. Let's go. I'm going to get beat up. When I go into the gym, I'm going to war with my body.
And also, too, is like the sword you carry is sharp on both sides, bro. It is. You know, you don't let anything get dull in your life. You're keeping going. And those are the things, you know, as I bring these, you know, warrior mindset, you know, podcast to fruition and bring different people on, you know, that's why I'm so intrigued with a guy like you. First of all, we've been friends for a while. So, you know, I get to live your life with you and things of that nature. But so many people are blessed to kind of have you as that mentor, you know, as that lead warrior. And
Mark had me up and he's like, hit me up yesterday and he's like, man, thank you so much for everything that you showed me how to do. This young man had no direction, didn't know what to do. He just got out of entrepreneurship school. And I said, what you into? He says, calisthenics. I said, well, let me show you how to make money at that.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good kid. He's doing really, really well. Yeah. Great guy. So switching just a little bit, but, you know, still working, you know, from the cancer and the mindset with that is, how are you doing, you know, maybe some of the folks, what's your diet like? Like, how do you, I could give you examples and things like that. I'm the doctor and I talk of diet nutrition, but I want to hear it from you. And we've talked about some things that we've done together, but like for the audience to know.
When you have cancer, you can't eat a lot of sugar. Yeah. And I think even without having cancer, you still need to lower your intake on your sugar. So sugar is the culprit in everything. And sugar is in everything. It's hidden. They got it in stuff. So a lot of processed food has sugar, so you should be eating whole foods. So if you're going to get sugar, you should be more natural sugar, right? Not a lot of salty stuff. There's different things about eating red meat. I don't eat red meat no more. I eat fish and chicken. And, you know, I eat fish and chicken. I eat greens. I eat kale. I eat tofu. I eat, you know, all of these good things.
What's your, and I could get way in depth, but I want people to hear it from you because you're the guy going through it. I could give you all the doctor stuff, the carbohydrates and the fats and the cholesterols and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But so I'm going to kind of bait you with some questions here. Yeah. Obviously, the sugars, we're talking about simple sugars, right? Like sugar, sodas, cookies, cakes, candy, Gatorades, whatever. Yeah. But carbohydrates like rice and pastas and breads and all that, you know, tortillas and all that. Yeah. With your diet, that does break down into sugar eventually, but it's a complex. How are you on your carbohydrates?
So you know what I do with that? So I cut the carbs,
right,
and I added in healthier fats.
And let the audience know what that I could say, but I'd rather hear it from you because you're the guy doing it. You know
so I added in healthier fats like avocado, stuff like that. And so at first, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first looked at the avocado, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that, man. That thing looks hella nasty. But I tried it. I was like, you know what? This is not bad. I can eat this. So cheese too. They'll tell you not to eat cheese, but cheese is a good fat. So I eat these things because my roommate also, she is a female bodybuilder as well, and she does the keto.
Right.
The keto. So I do a mixture of keto and alkaline.
Yeah, or like a Mediterranean style.
And like alkaline.
Fish and rice and vegetables.
Vegetables, and I do an alkaline. So it's a mixture. So my carbs are cut low, but then I replace some of those carbs with fat sources.
Right, and a quick note for some of the people too, when we talk about alkaline and basic, you know, or acidic, and alkaline is more basic. But a lot of the cancer cells themselves work on acid.
Yeah, and so they can't live in an alkaline state, right? Exactly. So it's kind of like what you got to do is you got to starve the cancer.
Yes.
So when they cut my testosterone feeds prostate cancer. So when they cut that, mentally you're gonna get jacked up because they already tell you, okay, when we cut this, you're gonna drop muscle like that. I was like, oh shit, what? No, I'm not dropping my. See, that's where the mindset comes. I'm not dropping myself. So I went in the gym, found the biggest dude up in the gym. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna push the weights with you." We started pushing even harder.
Yep.
So I'm literally fighting against resistance, and they're putting poison in me. I'm fighting against that, right? So then I was like, okay, I need to change my diet, dude. So I'm like, so now if I'm killing it like with the exercising, and I'm drinking alkaline water,
right.
I said now I need to kill it with like him having an alkaline diet. So not a lot of acidity stuff up in there. Kill it that way, right? Now, those foods are a little bit more expensive, but hey, your health is your wealth. So I'm like, they're giving me an aggressive treatment. So I also need to be proactive myself. You cannot always expect the doctors to do everything for you. You have to do your own research.
Exactly.
You have to like say like, look, I want to live. And I'm going to do everything to beat this. And so I'm going to research every single freaking article, and I'm going to try everything and find out what works for me, and I'm working. So I fast. I fast anywhere from 12 to 13 hours.
You know, it's funny, and you know, I'd look at yourself like, you know, we have people that are sheep, you know, and people are led like a sheep, and a lot of times, which it's a shame, and you know, people need to be the warrior, people need to be the lion, like you are. But you got to take your own health into your own hands. Yeah. So, like you were just going back to the analogy of when you were talking about the people walking down the, you know, you're walking down the hallways and you're looking inside the rooms, and you know the people there who are not, they're really not taking their own health into their hands. They're relying on the doctors to do everything. And listen, the doctors do a great job in a lot of respects, but the doctors expect you, and they, you know, don't tell me any different. The doctors expect you to do some work yourself. One of the things with you, you go above and beyond. Yeah. I mean, you're the guy that's walking down the hallway. You know,
and that's what my doctor said. He said, you're my favorite patient. He says, because everything that I tell you to do, you do, and then you do research on your own. And you always come to me with questions and answers like that. And he says, like, he sat down and looked at me after we finished doing the video. He says, Lamont, I want to let you know that I'm doing my very best to get you the very best. Yeah. He says, because your cancer is so aggressive, you're so young, we don't want to lose you right now. So we're going to hit it aggressively. And, you know, we're going to make sure you're bearing with it. But I mean, they're hitting me hard because they're giving me the chemo, which is already jacking me up. They're giving me a shot that cuts down my testosterone so bad. I got pills that they give me that cuts that down, and I'm on high blood pressure medication. So, but you just sitting there like,
and that goes back to you know, those are basically bullets, right? Yeah, those are basically spears. Yeah, like, what are you wearing every day? You're wearing that armor. And then you know what I mean? That warrior mentality that you have is like, you know, unprecedented for a lot of people.
Some guys, when they get prostate cancer, they don't want to talk about the sexual stuff. Yeah, they'll be up in these little freaking groups, and they don't want to talk about that. But it's something to talk about. And there's so many research and things that they can do now. Me, I'm like, man, I'm going to make sure I'm taking care of them. I don't know what you guys got to give me pills. You got to give me a little freaking pump. I don't know what you guys got to give me. But we're going to work this out. Like, I am not going down in that area either. Right. So we're going to make sure we get this right. So show me everything we got to do, and I'm going to try every single thing out to find out what works perfectly for me, and we're going to do that. Yeah. And the nurse is like, oh, my God, like this dude. I'm like, look, I'm trying to live.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, too, is living isn't just you know, staying in your own house and staying in the, you know, on your sofa watching Netflix all day long. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Living is getting out there, getting out, and being proactive about your life. Because if you don't care about your life, then why should you care about it? Why should somebody else care about it? If you don't love yourself, why should somebody else love you?
Oh, and also, too, is you and I talked about this all the time, and I've used the term, you know, exercise affects mental fitness. Yes. Right? And the idea behind it is the exercise is already in that mindset of the warrior that you are. So if you're doing the exercise, you're going to feel 10 times better than if you did nothing and then just woe is me.
Well, so you know what a physical therapist said to me the other day. He seen me. He said, damn, man, you still got so much muscle. Even though you look a little bit smarter than what you did. And he says, you know why? It's because, he says, we look at these young guys, and these young guys are in the gym, and they just walking around thinking they're like, yeah. But they don't even realize, first of all, they look at you and they think you're around about their age, when you're actually 49 years of age. Right. And when the cancer hit you, he says, what helped you keep the muscle on is because you have been building that foundation since you was 8 years old. And you know what made me build that is because when my mental was getting bad because of getting beat. The outlet that I had to let that out was getting up on the monkey bars, doing pull-ups, doing push-ups. That was my outlet for my anger.
Right.
And so I've been doing that since I was 8. I've been doing calisthenics since I was 8. So I've been working out since I was 8 years old, and I developed all of my life that foundation. So then when they took my testosterone rate, the foundation was already there.
Solid. Yeah, it's already there. Yeah.
So it was hard for the counselor to break it down because it was already
right.
built.
Well, one of the things too you're also doing is you're just not just rolling over.
Yeah, no.
Right? You're continuing the exercise programs, you're continuing the fitness. Now, could you say to yourself, in your own room at the end of the night, man, I didn't do as many pull-ups as I thought I should have. But dude, you're there where then you walk down that hallway, those people are doing nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
And I get tired a little bit more, but like if I set a number and I say, okay, I got 30, and I start growing up, and normally I would be able to crank out 30 with my testosterone, no problem, like in a row. But now it's like I take out 5 and I'm over here already winded. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do 5 this many times till I get to 30.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to stop. I got a goal, I got a number, and I'm going to get that number.
You're doing modifications, but you're not stopping.
Yeah, no,
you just continue to go on.
Just continue to go on.
Just keep going.
Because when they give me my testosterone back, it is game over. Like I'm trying to tell you right now.
Everybody better watch out.
And they said what they're going to do is they're going to start off slowly, but they said they can inject some synthetic into me. Mm-hmm. I said, man, I cannot wait for that time to come because I'm about to.
Man, it's crazy. So here's a question for you. We little by little just ask different questions to people as we do these interviews and things like that. If you had to at this point right now, and you said to yourself, I could sit down across and have lunch just like we're sitting across here.
Yeah.
And it could be anybody in history.
Yeah.
Who'd you have a conversation with?
Anybody in history? I would love to have a conversation with Jack LaLanne.
And then like the audience, I'm gonna start making notes of this and ask people along the way, as we get finished with the
Jack LaLanne
talks.
Because this dude's mindset, bro. I feel like I'm a warrior, but this dude, he was on a whole ass nother level, bro. Like this dude was swimming,
the boat in his teeth,
pulling tugboats behind. I said, what kind of level you got to be on to do some stuff like that? Mm-hmm. And he would do some crazy feat on every one of his birthdays, something just like ridiculous. And people would be just lined up watching this dude out there. This fool got shackles and handcuffs on, and he's figured doing a dolphin swim, pulling boats.
At 98 years old or something.
I'm like,
I think he passed away at what, 98?
Yeah, he was like,
I think his wife made 100.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, like you did like 1,000-some pull-ups in like X amount of minutes. What kind of mindset? And the same guy that kind of does his kind of stuff is, what's that dude? He's from a Navy SEAL too. What's his name?
Oh, Goggins?
Yeah.
Yeah, the runner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude's mindset is on a whole.
Yeah, the pull-ups, when he did the pull-ups. He did the pull-ups for
he did the pull-ups.
Yeah.
That dude's mindset is there too. And you have these people that you meet in your life, and you just know that because of how they grew up, they had to develop a lot of grit.
Mm-hmm. So it's funny. I'll tell you a funny story with Jack LaLanne. When he said that, my eyes were like, what, Jack LaLanne?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and that's probably what set some of my foundation, who I am today, from the fitness was, fortunate. We talked, off mic before about, getting through the SEAL team and whatnot. But when I was a little kid, my sister was a year older than me, and this is back in New York, right?
Okay.
I'd wait for my sister to get back from kindergarten. I'm probably 4 years old, 5 years old. She's in first grade, whatever it is. And the old black and white TV. And my mom would sit me in the, in front of the TV set, and Jack LaLanne would be on. And I just remember one time Jack LaLanne's talking into the camera, and he finished his little routine. He's in those little spandex things and things like that. And he looked in the camera, and I'm sitting there all by myself, and he goes, "You too can live to be 100." Right? And I'm like, as a little kid, I'm like, you talking to me?
Yeah, you talking.
And I swear to God, you could talk to a ton of people along the way. It's kind of interesting you said Jack LaLanne, because I told myself, I'm going to live to be 100. If the good Lord wants to check me out at 100, I want to do the best I can. Yeah. And in order to do that, we have to live exactly the way you're telling. We have to live our lives, along the way. If you want to be that, triple digits. We say triple digits. How many people in this world get triple digits? Not many.
Not a lot of people.
But Jack LaLanne said you could.
He did.
And he was big into the juice and the vegetables and all that type of thing.
And this dude was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Just straight up shredded.
Mm-hmm. Back in the day, man. Yeah, it's crazy. But listen. I just will kind of finish up here, man. It was a pleasure, chatting with you. We're gonna get this all set up. We'll get it where we get some DMs. We'll get some where people can get a hold of you because I think our audience could really benefit from you if there's people that are suffering and they have that warrior mindset, that mental mindset that you have. I think we can help a lot of people conquer it because our mind is a crazy thing. Yeah. If you yourself, who you talk to us in the audience about having that mental mindset, that warrior mindset to be so proactive, to get up out of the chair after the chemotherapy and walk down the hallways and back and forth, why can't you drink? Why can't you be the Pied Piper? Why can't you be the guy leading people who are laying in their beds taking the chemotherapy and thinking, oh, this is it? Man, it's not it until God tells you it's it.
Well, this lady that was taking chemo the other day, and she said, I seen you walking the hallway. She says, what gym do you train out at? Because I'm going to come and see you. Mm-hmm. It's just stuff like that. And,
that's amazing.
And, my thing is that some people, when they're going through that, they need another buddy, like another soldier right beside them. So I'm like, let me be that soldier beside you, and I'm carrying you for a while till you can start walking yourself.
So it's funny you say that, and we'll kind of finish up with this too here, that you said you need a buddy sometimes. And we are a hurting type of, being, right? Yeah. People should not be alone. Human beings should not be alone. Yeah. And when I was going through Buds, one of the big things you chatted with me off camera before, you go, man, what is the people's mindset when they stay, and what is the mindset of people when they quit? And it's funny because if you get positive people to bring you with you, you're going to do well. Yeah. But there were so many guys, especially during Hell Week, where one guy would feel depressed. He's talking to his buddy who may be on the fence, and go, hey man, why don't we just quit? We'll just quit together. Yeah. That word together. Yeah. Together can be used on the fence. Together for positive, together for negative. And so many guys would quit in pairs. Yeah. So many guys in Hell Week would quit in pairs because they think, oh, hey, well, listen, we're gonna go on a ship together. We'll be buddies together. Forget this, Hell Week type of training. Yeah. But then you had guys that were tight as hell that got each other through it. Yeah. I think where you are right now, from a guy that's walking through the fire of cancer, you can be the guy that's dragging people with you. Go, no. We're not quitting. We're not ringing out. No. We're not ringing out.
Life is not over yet. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't get up from my chair. Okay, well, let me show you how to work out from your chair. Let's go. Let's keep moving.
Exactly. So with that being said, hey, listen, I want to thank you so much. I personally think that there's a lot of positive things coming out of this with you. Mm-hmm. I think that our audience, once we get this stuff all out there, that you're going to get some people talking to you, and let's do some positive aspects.
Yeah, let's do some.
I want you to be that warrior, man. Yeah. That warrior mindset, and I'm the guy with you. Yeah. Trying to help you succeed, and not the guy dragging you down. So if there's anything you need from us too, you let me know. So
I appreciate that.
Until our next broadcast and stuff like that, I wish you the best. God bless, and keep the faith.
Yes, sir.
And until next time on the Warrior Mindset Podcast with Dr. Joe.
That's
all right, brother. Let's go.
Nice.
Okay, bro.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.